Welcome back. Well, we've got a local author with us today. Dave Cornell wrote a book called Cultivate Courage, Face Fear, Fulfill Dreams. Love the title. Welcome to the show, by the way.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
So it's always fascinating to me to sit down with an author and sort of talk about the genesis of the book and how the title came about. So let's start with the title. What's the, why this title?
Well, this is really kind of my story of discovering fear, the role that fear was playing in my life, and the recognition to, in order to overcome fear, you have to have courage. So it's my journey of cultivating courage in my own life, and hopefully the book is something that can help other people recognize the fear in their lives and begin to courageously face those fears.
Was there specific things you were afraid of, or just sort of in general?
Just in general. You know, I lost my job back in January of 2010. My wife and I lived in the Twin Cities at that time. In February of 2011, my wife lost her job. We went through all of our savings. We ended up not quite losing our home, but came out of a home that had at one time well over $100,000 in equity. The market had plummeted. There were no jobs to be found. We came out of it with $7,000. So here we were in our mid-50s, no home, no money. Our marriage was shaky because of all of those things. Went through intense counseling and diagnosed with situational depression. And it was in that time that I uncovered a lot of fears that had been plaguing me for much of my life, and the recognition of the need to have courage in order to overcome that.
So then how did you cultivate the courage? Because I think most people would say, hey, anyone that can sit down and write a book, that takes a lot of courage. So how did you go about cultivating this?
Well, it was actually through the counseling, and then I attended a number of job development groups down in the Twin Cities at the time. And it was truly, this is not a book about becoming fearless. It's about becoming courageous. People, if you Google, fearless living, you'll find 6 million different hits that you can go and search. I believe it's about fear, or courageously stepping into your fears. If we wait till we're fearless, we're not going to get very far. And it's the kinds of things about, maybe it's, and it happens in both our personal and professional lives. Maybe there's a job that you want to apply for, but you look at the qualifications and you only meet 6 of the 10. I'm not good enough for that, so you don't apply. Maybe it's having a difficult conversation with your spouse or with your kids or with your boss. And so we avoid these things thinking and waiting for the right time. But when is the right time? And that's why it's about facing those fears courageously and stepping into them.
But do you have like a daily practice to cultivate the courage? Or what would you suggest to someone watching going, hey, here's what I did to sort of build up my courage?
Well, for me, as I sat out in the parking lot this morning, for me as a Christian guy, my faith is such a big part of it. And so I prayed as I was out there today, Lord, just help me to be who you created me to be. And then it's really an awareness of the fear in your life. So often the things that we're afraid of are default positions. We say, I'm not good enough for that, or I'm too old, or I'm too young. And so we live into that default. So it's an awareness of what is that tape that is playing in our head, so that when we recognize that tape, we step into it courageously. And so it's really about awareness. And for me, the faith piece is the part that really projects me forward.
So for people out there watching, where can they get the book, and who specifically would you say it's for?
Well, it's a fascinating thing. First of all, you can get it on Amazon. Just go to Amazon and type in Cultivate Courage. It'll be the first thing that pops up. But then the book, I've had people I've had a gentleman in their 90s, and he said, I wish I'd have had this book 50 years ago. I've had high school students who've read the book. And so it's really, because it's such a personal journey for everyone. And the thing that people tell me is that it's so relatable and it's a quick read. So I think it's really for just about anybody. Anybody who's facing challenges in their life, anybody who has fears and anxieties about things, I think it's a great read for them.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It's a big feat to get a book done.
Thank you for having
being
me
here. Appreciate it. All right, stay with us. Coming up, some advice on how to make the most out of your bags when packing for some vacay. Stick around.